Hey everybody, Herc Magnus here, and I have on with me Adam Harari. How do you pronounce it?
That's right.
Adam Harari. Okay. So the reason I have Adam on here today is because we had a webinar, I think a couple days ago, and I asked people to submit their sites for an audit. He submitted a site, and to my surprise, I was like, this is the perfect example of what should be done. At least, you know, if I felt like a student was ever following my directions to a T, Adam absolutely did it. And the results that he got is when we were on the webinar, we looked at his MozDA PA. They were both at one meeting just starting out, and his website was ranking on the second page, I believe 12 or 13. And the website was like all the finite details were just there. So I reached out to Adam. I said, hey, Adam, can I get you on? I want to introduce you to members. I even posted in the Facebook group. I said, I think this is our next rising star right here. And I asked him if he'd come on with me just so we could talk and everybody could listen to his answers and get his input into things. So thank you for coming on, Adam. It's nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So let's start here, man. Tell me a little bit about before you found RankAndRent.club. What do you do? What have you been doing? Let's start there.
Yeah, so I mean, prior to this, you know, I had very little SEO experience. You know, I work as a data analyst in a med tech firm. So I started off with like Google Ads about, I would say, a year ago. I was running like a small agency where I had, you know, very few clients, was making a little bit of money, but nothing crazy. And then I just popped on the internet and saw RankAndRent. I was like, oh, what's this? And, you know, yours is one of the first up there. So I took a look, I browsed around, and then I said, okay, you know, there's a trial and let me try it out, you know, and I kind of fell in love with it. It like really turned the light on in my head, like, oh, this is what I want to do.
So you like the concept of, you know, building the property. Like what about it actually? I won't assume. Like what about RankAndRent turned you on to it?
I think like it was just like something like I created this, you know, like I can get something of my own ranking and something that, you know, I own, like that, like you say in the trainings, like I own the asset, right? And I can choose how exactly I want to make revenue off of it. And having that control, I think, was a big aspect, as well as, you know, I think I've mentioned this to you offline. It's like, I like the creative aspect of it too. Because, you know, in my job, I mean, there's creativity, but you don't get to like build these cool, beautiful websites and get people on them. And it's something that just really excited me.
Okay. And like, how did that differ for you from, because you said you were doing Google Ads for clients, and I mean, you weren't making riches or anything off it, but like, how did RankAndRent differ for you from that, as far as like, why did you choose to shift?
Yeah. So I think that like the Google Ads algorithm is tough. Like you really have to know exactly what you're doing and be, it's hard to put it into words, because like Google Ads, you're competing with so many other people doing like that cost per click, and is my budget right? Is the auction, you know, method that I chose correct? With RankAndRent and local SEO and all that kind of stuff, there is basically, you know, only one or two methods that you can get yourself up to that first page, and it kind of makes it a little bit simpler to do, in my opinion. I think there's obviously a lot of steps and things you got to do, and you know, to get there, but like there's one formula, and the formula works according, you know, to what I've seen.
and like, so you said that you didn't really have SEO experience. You probably knew what it meant, at least, right? Like you understood search engine optimization means getting a website to the
I knew. You didn't have experience. Yeah, no, I knew what it meant, and I did, you know, keyword research, you know, on using only like the Google API thing that they have on the Google Ads. So like I was familiar with the terminology that you've used and things like that, but yeah, I never actually said, okay, let me take these keywords and create something off of them so I can get it ranked. Like that never really, I never put the 2 and 2 together for that.
Right. So when you were doing the AdWords, were you building landing pages to send the ads to, or were you just directly sending the traffic to like client websites and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, I was really just talking with clients. Like I got them via cold email completely, which was amazing in and of itself. I had zero experience at the time. This was like I would say 6 to 8 months ago, and I got them to agree to do Google Ads with me. These are like startups, seed funding rounds, and I was able to just use their homepage, website, landing
Right.
page and put them into the Google Ads, try and like decipher from their website like how to craft the Google Ads,
Right.
but it never really worked out very well. Like you'd get like 3%, 4% click through rates, but that's not going to do anything.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's really Google's algorithm or is it me or whatever. You know what I mean? It was difficult. It was difficult.
Okay. Yeah. So like the reason I ask is because now you transition into rank and rent, and now you have to build the property and the websites. And talk a little bit about, you didn't build landing pages for your past clients. You just ran ads to what they had. But here you're like, okay, well now I have to take on actually building the website and the property.
Mhm.
So what was your experience with? So you had no SEO experience really, other than knowing what it was. And what was your experience with building websites?
I'll tell you this. I mean, the most experience I've had building a website was probably, during college, I built like a Wix website, for a college project. But,
Yeah.
even before that, like in the late 90s, when the internet was still just coming about, like I made like an HTML site, like, oh, I made this Hello World website,
Yeah. Yeah.
but literally like zero experience prior to this.
So no word, obviously zero experience means no WordPress experience. And we teach, obviously
Zero.
WordPress, you did a Wix website in the past. And so how did you find, the process of learning and building a website, being that you had no experience? Like, did you struggle with it or was it easy for you? How did that work out?
Yeah, so the keyword research part of things was much easier than the actual building of the website. I think
Yeah.
it was really just getting used to the tools, understanding how things interact with each other, especially like that word, like when you take one of those plugins for a website builder and use it within WordPress, just understanding the interaction between the two and how to organize yourself within that. I think that was the biggest learning curve. But then once you get over that hump, then, like I'm kind of working on my second website now, and it's
Yeah.
much easier. I know exactly
Yeah.
what plugins I need. I know
Yeah.
exactly how to organize myself with Zaggio, and I'm using Divi. So like there's it gels inside. That's what
Okay.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So, and we were talking prior to this, and you had mentioned that you felt, there was a gap in our training in the design aspect or building the website aspect of our
Yeah.
training, which thank you for telling me that. But how did you fill the gap on your own?
Yes, so I mean, it was a lot of tutorials online. I went to the Divi website. They have some great guides. I'm sure all the other, website tools have them, like Thrive, and you mentioned Elementor. But I think that their UIs are easy enough that a person with very little experience can get it within a couple of weeks. I certainly did. So if I can do it, I'm sure other people can.
So you just decided, I'm going to learn
Yeah,
this, and you made it
yeah,
happen,
because
which is good on you.
Yeah, because yeah, there was like a part of the training that, it says, okay, set up your website and whatnot, and here's all the different plugins that I use and things like that. And then it just goes straight into, okay, now let's like get this thing to rank.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, but I still need to build the website. How do I do that? And so I, took it upon myself and I just said, okay, I'm going to find out exactly how to do this part on my own. I know it's going to be some work, but it wasn't too bad. Like you
Yeah.
just do it little by little.
Yeah.
You just find out how to do it.
And your second website, is that going faster than the first one?
Much faster. I mean, I built it. I registered the domain on the beginning of April. I took a vacation in between, so I can't say that I did it in a second, but like literally the setup took one day to get it up and running with the WordPress and Zaggio and everything with my keywords. in a day or two. And then now I'm actually putting the pages together.
That's another great question. How did you feel about the process of, once you found your keyword, you have to go buy the domain, then you have to buy the hosting, you have to connect the registrar, like that whole process. And then, through cPanel installing WordPress, how did you find all that?
I think that was pretty seamless. You did a good job on the RankAndRent of teaching that aspect. Actually, I think that was like highly helpful. Setting up the back end stuff, because I would not have known how to do it if you didn't have those videos. So I really appreciate that.
Okay, awesome. Did you use Namecheap?
I used Namecheap. Okay. I did. I think actually, this is a good time to bring it up. I did have a kind of like an error on my site at one point. This was like in the first week, like the whole thing just got screwed up, and I couldn't even recover it. So thank God, Namecheap, their hosting, customer support was able to actually restore the whole website for me to the prior day. So I was like, oh my God, thank God.
At no charge?
No charge. So it was fantastic. I'll have to say, I give them A+ for customer support.
Which is also probably the top reason I recommend, if you want to host your websites and just getting started out, to go with Namecheap, because if you don't know what you're doing, you need someone there to support you 24/7, and Namecheap's 24/7 live chat support it's awesome. It's just so deadly. And that's so saying, thanks for sharing that, because it happened to you too. Do you know what ended up being the error? Did they tell you, or did you?
I forgot what exactly. Like, I think I had a plugin that kind of changed something in one of the files on the WordPress backend.
htaccess.
The htaccess file, and it just then I kept trying to log in, and it would say like error or something, and I would be like, oh crap, what do I do? So I called support. I'm like, please help me, please do something, and they were very helpful. They helped me within an hour. So
awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, they are great. So next, I guess you got it all set up. What did you do really for not the implementation of the pages and posts on the site, because you obviously did good with the optimization and stuff like that, but the physical look of the site to the end user? How did you design it? How did you go through that phase? Did you do it? Did you hire it out?
No, I did everything myself. And really, I think it's taking a look at like some of the local competition, just seeing like how they did things, how they laid things out, and kind of like replicating it in a way so that like I'm still consistent with them, but also have my own unique take on things. Having that back end template from the website, the Divi, was actually like made it so much more seamless, because I don't have to do any of the design on the like actual look of the overall. I just had to fill it with my personalization.
Yeah, templates from the theme builder, which Divi has them, Elementor has them, Thrive Themes has them. So you just basically choose a template, pop in your own stuff, and it kind of takes a life on its own.
Exactly.
Did you, for the content, did you hire that out, write it yourself?
I actually used one of your recommendations from Zagio Magic. Initially, actually, I did get one of the pages written out by iWriter. But then I was like, oh, I saw this Zagio Magic thing on Page Rewriter. Yeah. And I used that to kind of pull the top, paragraphs and H1s and things like that from the top competition that I have. And I was able to rewrite a lot of that information into, what I was doing, and put that on the site, and it works. I mean, so you use
Page Rewriter from Mike Martin.
I'd use Page Rewriter.
That's a killer tool. And then as far as like the structure of the content, like, because that was one of the things I remember on the webinar, I looked at it, and when I was analyzing another guy's website, I brought him back to yours to say, like, look at the content section. This is telling a story. So how did you use your competition to help you build content sections? Did you use Page Rewriter, or did you just use your own personal, like, if I was a catering, like, how did you approach, this section goes here, this section goes here? How'd you approach that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, like, I looked at not just like the local people of, the catering websites. I also looked at like personal to my home, like things around me, what they did. And I kind of just said like, okay, if I was a person going onto this website, like what would I want to see? I want to see what is the quality of the catering? What kind of services do you offer? And I kind of just, thought, okay, this is a logical format. People want to see, what are we about? What are the services they have? I want to see testimonials, then I want to see an FAQ, just
Right.
like basic FAQ. And I thought that was just like kind of a logical way that I would want to see it.
Yeah.
So I think that works.
So a little blend of like, here's what other people are using. Here's what
Yeah.
I would like to see if I was so like,
It
and
could be
then,
different in other niches. Like, I don't know,
yeah.
like maybe there's certain ones that are, you need to follow a certain template or something like that, or else you won't do well. But this worked for me.
I like your approach. I like your approach of thinking about it from if I was going to hire a caterer, what would appeal to me, right? I love that approach because I think that the way you think is a way a lot of people probably think, right? So what that's going to end up doing is when other people are visiting that website, they're going to get what they're inherently looking for because it's what you're looking for. And when we're looking for caterers, we're similar people, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So it creates that realness to the site. So I like that approach. And then, so you took that all, and then you kind of use Page Rewriter to help you grab the content, use the template builder to just fill it all in and pop that catering site popped out the way it was.
Done. Yep.
Awesome. And then what about, so you did a lot of the little things, right? Which a lot of people, I always talk about the 80-20 rule, 80% of your efforts are going to come from keyword research keyword research, on-page optimization, off-page optimization. And then all the little things is going to be the last 20% of your traffic. But you seem to have got a lot of things right. And one of the best examples of that on your site was like your H tag structure. Not a lot of people nail that. You nailed it. How come? What happened there?
I actually don't know. I mean, I figured like there was, some I don't think it was your webinar, but something that I watched on YouTube about like H tags and why they matter to like Google robots and crawlers. And I was like, okay, if I was to organize this, how would I do it? I would have sections, right? Each section would have an H2. The overall page has an H1, and then everything else would be a sub H3 or below. And so I figured, that's pretty simple formula to follow. I don't know why I can't do it. And so I just made sure that I followed those guidelines.
In Elementor, you just like, because that's how you handle an H tag, right? In Elementor, you're like, okay, this text should be an H1 or an H2.
Yeah, you just highlight. I think I just highlighted each one in the text, and they said, okay, H1 or H2, right? And that it was pretty simple.
So it's great. You did a great job there. You're not sure if it was me, because I definitely teach that. Okay, I definitely in webinars I've taught it, and then I have a document that I go through as well. But you nailed it, and that's another little tweak that helps. And then another little thing that you did is you went out and put in the effort to build the social profiles around the website as well. Did you do that yourself or hire it?
No, I did that all myself. Took like a Saturday one day and built that. I also built out even like a Yelp profile for it. I still even get calls to the catering website from like the Yelp guy trying to get me to do ads and stuff. It wasn't that much work, to tell you the truth, to set up like 3 profiles. Like, what does it take you? A couple hours to do an Instagram, a Facebook, a LinkedIn, maybe a Twitter if you want. Like, it really is not that much work.
Yeah. And did you really just set up the wireframe of each one, like meaning the profile setup, or did you dig into those and actually add a bit of content descriptions to each of those social profiles? Like, how far did you go with each one?
Yeah, each one I definitely filled in the framing, all the business information. One of them, I think I leveraged the same content across all of them. Like I made a post that said, okay, call us if you need, catering services. I made like a little picture from Canva that said like, call us for an appointment or something like that. And I posted it on all of them. Just to like get it going. I followed a bunch of accounts on each one just to see if I can like pull some followers in. But yeah, like it wasn't, I didn't do like a crazy amount of work on it.
Yeah. And then, so now I guess you're to the point where the site's really done. You have like a bit of social profiles built out to it. when we did the webinar, we looked at the Moz DA and PA of it and it showed 0. Are there links built to that site? You're ranking number 12 or 13 for your main keyword, probably for additional keywords. Were there links built to that site other than social profiles?
Yeah, I did build a few. I got someone in the Facebook group to actually help me out with one of the links, as well as used Saket on who is one of your recommended people on the RankAndRent club. He's great. I highly recommend him. You know, like I went from probably in the 30s, 40s in my rankings to like now where I am 11, 12, 13. So definitely recommend it.
I was going to actually ask that, like because the way we looked at it, it looked like 0 links, but now the truth is there's 5 links, which still is not a lot of links. You're ranking 13, which is great. You're on your way, but where did you debut before you built links? Like, do you know where your main keyword was did it hit a point and rise slowly or fall or bounce? Like what happened with if you were tracking your rankings for your main keywords?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the beginning, like, I think everything started out in the 70s, 80s. Like it was not promising at the time. I was like a little weary. I was like, oh no, did I choose a wrong keyword? Did I do something bad? But then as I started to keep on indexing the website, even without links, and do some more on-page optimization, it definitely helped get me into like maybe the 50s, 60s. And then with that link, it really started to push me up. And the effects don't just happen overnight. Like throughout the following weeks, you know, it slowly crept up. You see like up 5 in one day, or you know, the next day it's up 3 spots. So it takes time, but it works.
Yeah. Did you at any point see or experience the Google dance where it was like, you know, page 7 out of the top 100, page 5 out of the top 100? You did see that? Okay.
For sure. Yeah. I saw like a few keywords completely fall. Like it was like one was at 49 and then it just fell out of the rank. I'm like, well, what happened? Like, why did that happen? Sure enough, though, a few weeks later, it did pop back in. So I must have done.
If you were before you were building links and stuff, why did you commit? And like when you were ranking and then you'd see things falling out, you mentioned you're like, you know, oh, did I do something wrong? Why did you commit to keep moving forward instead of just saying like, oh, I messed up, I got to start over? Why did you commit to keep moving forward?
I think it's not just, I think it's more personal to me. It's just like I want to see things through. And this first website was kind of like a test for me. Like, okay, if I can really do this and make this first website something, then I'm going to continue doing RankAndRent and I'm going to continue doing this. And so I wanted to really see that fully through. And just because one keyword fell out, like it's not really going to stop me. I had a bunch of other keywords that were ranking just fine. So I kind of just don't fret if that happens, you know. I think we're all going to see that happen in all of our websites, and it's just something that happens. You have to persevere through it.
Yeah. Awesome. So then you're building backlinks now and your site's ranking on page 2. Have you added call tracking?
I do. I used Dialhawk,
great.
Also one of your recommended, hooked it up with the Twilio. And yeah, so I got even a couple of actual real leads that came through it, you know, aside from all the other calls that come through. So that was really cool.
Yeah. And then, so now we're at the point where it's like, you're almost, I mean, I'm not recommending that anyone goes out and starts trying to sell the site, but I mean, you have opportunities at this point because the site's ranking, it's starting to generate those trickle of leads. I mean, here's a couple opportunities for you. I mean, you could sell the site right now to someone else that wants to take it the rest of the way, that has the experience and the knowledge. You could flip it right now. You could decide, no, I want to push it to page 1 and see what it's going to do. Like, what are your thoughts on where you want to go in the next, month or 2 with this?
At the moment, I'm still trying to just get that rank up. I'd like to see if I can actually generate a steady set of leads with the keyword that I chose. I'm not really open to selling it because I want to go through the full RankAndRent process and start like generating leads for an actual business. Yeah. So at this point, I'm not looking to sell it. Maybe down the road, if it's really a great site and generating a ton of money, great. I could sell it for a nice premium, but not at the moment.
Not at the moment. So your next step, once it's generating the leads and in the right rankings, is the sales process. Now, are you thinking about it yet, or are you, like, where are you at that? Are you prepping for it?
I'm prepping for it in that I'm trying to actually like do some like email reach outs on the referrals that I did get. Kind of just testing the waters of some of the local businesses that are around. And I do have the contact form 7 hack set up on the website, so that could also help get someone renting it. But yeah, I haven't really thought about it in depth that much.
Well, that to be honest, that makes sense, because I tell a lot of people, it's like, look, don't worry about what's going to happen until you need it to happen. And that goes throughout all the training. Like, don't worry about building backlinks if you haven't picked your keyword or built your site yet. So you're not quite at the sales process. You're so close. So it makes sense that you're not there. But does, being that you're so close, does it make you nervous? Like, are you going to get on the phone? Are you going to cold email? Like, how do you feel you're going to approach that sales process? And are you comfortable with it?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm comfortable getting on the phone and just giving them a call. I don't think many people would be. I have used cold emails in the past, and it was successful. I got like a few clients for my past Google Ads business. So I think any method you choose, like it could work. It's just like, what are you comfortable with? And I think if you call up a business and you say, hey, I got 30 leads a month on this thing, do you want them? Or else I'm going to just give them to your competitor. Who's going to say no, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they will, but it's not, they will, but it's not advisable, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. And you'll run into the thing. It would, like, we build these sites, and when they start generating leads, we're truly in a position to help any business who does say yes. But what our hurdle is to get these businesses to actually listen to us and trust us. And that's a hurdle for a lot of businesses, because I'm pretty sure anyone that has an email account knows how much spam is coming our way. Anyone that owns a website especially knows. And these businesses are no different. They're getting contacted every day by every avenue possible: phone, email, maybe even fax. I don't know. It's 2022, but we have to overcome that hurdle with them. So how are you going to approach that personally, with knowing, and when you're in a position to send someone 30 to 50 new leads into their business, okay, you are really truly in a position to help them change their business. But how are you going to overcome the fear and skepticism of those businesses? How are you going to cut through the clutter?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, when I was doing the Google Ads business and I was, getting on calls with people via the cold emails. So yeah, not only did I cold email, but I also got on Zooms and had to actually sell these people on why I would be the best person. It was difficult. I mean, getting into sales and selling the product is not easy, but if you can kind of empathize with them and say like, okay, I see, you guys have been in business for a few years. What's going on? What's wrong with your business? Why are you on the phone with me, getting leads from me? Like, there has to be an issue, and you kind of have to like craft an offer to them around that. Yeah. And I think that has worked for me in the past. So you don't tell them like, oh, you're on the phone with me, you must be having problems. You don't tell them that, but you know what I mean? Like, just kind of say it without saying it.
Yeah. So this kind of is I'm sure you're going to borrow from, your days where you were kind of getting leads to your AdWords agency. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this is going to be a different type of sell? Because selling AdWords and selling a property that's generating leads, do you feel that's different in that, how you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it is going to be different, because you're kind of going in to them, like you're kind of doing a demand push onto them, whereas when I was doing like cold emailing for ads, it was like a demand pull, like, okay, oh, I'm going to spray out this email to 1,000 people, and how many people are going to respond, and based on that, how many am I going to get as a client? Whereas here, I'm going out to these local businesses and saying, like, do you want the top ranking in Google? Do you want these leads? And I think I'm going to have to think about exactly how to approach that. I don't know that I know the exact answer right now, actually.
Yeah, and I've got a few tricks that you can use. I'll tell everybody that's on it. Like, what do you think a business would say if you emailed them and you said only one thing to them? Do you take referrals? Well,
Yeah,
how is the business going to respond to that?
I think they would say yes, but they may think like, oh, this guy has some kind of ulterior motive. What is it? Does he want our money? Does he want something else?
That question, what is this guy's ulterior motive? I believe every business is going to have the minute you call them, and your question isn't, can you come to my house and fix my pool? Or I need a catering company. Like, there's those types of questions. There's people there that are going to answer the phone all day, every day with a big smile on their face. But the minute the question changes to, do you take referrals? Do you need leads? How can I help you? That mind frame in them is going to happen right away. What does this guy want? Who is he? You know what I mean? So the thing I like about the do you take referrals, I think, is a lot of companies do offer a referral program, right? They definitely do. So there's a little less inherent danger there, or there's a little less reason for them to be like, what does he want? Because I think, and I've been testing this and seeing pretty cool results. Businesses are like, oh, he wants a referral fee. You know what I mean? The question's already kind of answered in their mind. So I like that strategy. I'll suggest it to you when you start your outreach. Of course, I like the fact that you like to put your own personal touch and experience on doing things, but there's one for you to try. So
yeah, no, I'll take it under advisement for sure.
Yeah, and the fact that you've done cold email and sales to Google Ads already, I think is going to lend to the rank and rent thing for you anyway. So it's kind of great to hear that. And it's just go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just got to get the leads now.
Yeah, just got to push your ranking just a little bit further. So that's pretty much everything, unless you have any last comments that you want to add. Oh, I guess, how do you feel about the RankAndRent.club, the training and the software so far?
Love it. I mean, I love it. I think that Sagio has been very helpful, and keyword supremacy. I mean, it's awesome. Like, I can't say enough about that, because Google AdWords is nice for basics, but this thing is very powerful and allows you to do a lot of stuff that you can't do in Google AdWords. Especially, like, I love that you can do that one-click Google thing where it shows you all the in URL, the in phrase, all that. That's a great feature. It was definitely very helpful. So like, I love the tools, the trainings. Like I said before, it was so instrumental in helping me get to the point where I am now. So I highly recommend.
Thank you. And where can we get better?
Yeah, so like I said, maybe a partnership or something with one of those like website building, things like that. I know you probably don't have enough time to teach people that, but I think that would be helpful to some members who are really like, I don't know SEO, I don't know website building, I need a little bit more instruction. So maybe, like, even just pulling out, the group and seeing, like, okay, what's your level of experience, when you first start, could be helpful as well.
So I guess the last question I'll ask, because knowing it from your perspective of that, if somebody else is about to, like, come into the Rank and Rent Club, or they're out there right now searching Google, like, I need to make a little bit of side income, right? And they stumble into Rank and Rent as an option. What would you say to a person with zero experience who says, yes, I want to do Rank and Rent? What would you say to them as advice to say, look, these are the things that I think will help you on this journey?
Yeah, definitely. I think, just as a preface, you should be ready to not be lazy, because this is, some work. It's not going to be like an overnight success. But with that work comes great results. And I think that it'll be reflected in your rankings, and definitely getting a rental out from a business. But number two, I think that, you know, looking at other websites that talk about SEO, and there's like, I think there's Neil Patel or something. He's a great person to go to that website and take a look at his stuff. All the other websites like SEMrush, Ahrefs, there's some great content out there just to understand some of the basics and getting your site ranked, because I know that I spend a lot of time reading those blogs and articles, and it was vastly helpful, but it does take time. I will tell you that.
Yeah. Awesome. So commit to your success and be willing to do a little bit of research on your own, and you think good things will happen, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, that research on your own combined with your training is killer.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And we're going to get this out to the members, and please keep us updated with the progress of your website. And hopefully we can do call number 2 in the near future and talk about the sales process and how and why you rented your site.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so excited, and yeah, I'll be posting in the Facebook group real soon.
Awesome. Great. Thanks so much, man.
All right. Thanks a lot.